I'm Dan Whittaker, head coach here at the Impact Zone Golf Academy based at Altrincham Driving Range in Cheshire. I'm here today to talk to you about the role of the right shoulder on the downswing and its importance to do with over-the-top movements, being stuck from the inside, and also the dreaded flip at impact, where we see a lot of golfers flipping in order to reach the golf ball, or we tend to see the golf ball hooking off to the left or struggling with it slicing or blocking over to the right. So the right shoulder from the top of the swing moves in three directions. It moves from the ball to target line, it goes towards the target, it goes downwards, and it also goes outwards. Now, a lot of people aren't aware that it actually moves in those three directions, and those directions that it moves in are key to the individual in terms of what swing tendency you have that you struggle with. Will mean that it will be that you will be looking at, are you coming over the top? Go too much outwards, you need a little bit more downwards, maybe with a little bit more hip shift. If you tend to be very stuck on the inside, so it's dropping too much behind you, you're going to have to feel like it's moving outwards and towards the golf ball a little much more, which will then get the arms more in front of you. Now, more on those swing thoughts problems in just a second, but we also then tend to see that problems with golfers who will flip at the bottom, okay, will really extend the right arm like this, and what we'll see with those guys is that their right shoulder stays very, very high on the downswing. So, when we have a look at players, we see from the top here, if we get a guy who tends to come over the top, so we tend to move that right shoulder outwards here, and then the arms are coming down very steep, and has to work upwards. Notice his right shoulder stays very high, okay? And the right shoulder going high pushes the arms outwards, creating the outward movement. This player would be wanting to feel like the right shoulder is moving more downwards, okay? Feeling like it's almost moving maybe a little bit more towards the right foot on the way down, because this will then get the golf club to come more from the inside. But that player's still going to have to make sure that that right shoulder keeps on moving. The guy who gets a little bit trapped on the inside, so hips end up firing a little early, right shoulder works down, and the elbow then gets stuck backwards here, okay, and it's being too far from the inside, creating a path that's coming way too into out, and struggling with hooks and blocks. This golfer is going to want to visually see from the top of the backswing here that the right shoulder tracks on a straight line down to the golf ball. So we want to feel that this right shoulder goes down in this direction. Now this will actually feel like it's going more forwards towards the target line. So if I'm hitting it into the camera here, it will feel like this right shoulder is moving at the target, so it gets the arms then more in front of the body as opposed to being stuck behind the body right here. Now what we also see is that at the bottom a lot of players will come in, because their right shoulder stays high, they have to extend the right arm and then extend the right wrist in order to reach the golf ball. This creates a flip, the ball ends up sending off to the left, or very often creating a massive out to in with a lot of cut spin going off to the right hand side. Then this player is having to do this out of necessity to hit the golf ball, because if the right shoulder stays high, you've got to extend the right wrist in order to get down to the ball. The right shoulder is going downwards, so from the top, it being here, it's going to work down. This then means that you can compress the golf ball properly. Remember that in order to compress the golf ball, okay, we want the hands to be in front at impact. What this does, this shortens the radius of the right arm, okay? And we also want to have a very slight bit of flexion in that right arm at impact. I don't mean lots of it, just a little bit. Now, if we want to do this, that right shoulder has got to be continually moving. Now, one thing I tend to see with a lot of players is that they really struggle in that what they'll do is they'll come down, they'll stall the right shoulder, fire the right arm, then come through again. What we want to do is you want to make sure that right shoulder is moving through the shot at all times. So a great little drill to help with this is a little half swing drill, only going to maybe about halfway back here, and on the way through, you're going to come through and make sure that that right shoulder keeps on moving to the finish here, and the right shoulder is closer to the target than the left shoulder. This will mean that you'll be able to hit it with a bit of shaft lean, and the hands, the body and the club are always working as a singular unit. So once you've got yourself into this little half swing position right here, what you're aiming to do is from the half swing right there, is keep that right shoulder moving through to the target. So you start kept on moving, it's nearer to the target than the left shoulder, all the way through to the end of the follow through. It's a great exercise to get the feeling of the right shoulder continually moving, and from there you can start to work at your own individual movement that you struggle with the most. Maybe yours needs to come down a little more, maybe it needs to go a little bit more forwards, maybe a little bit more outwards. But that's all going to be down to the swing fault that you struggle with the most, based off your impact dynamics and also maybe your impact numbers off one of the ball flight machines that you'll be using, whether it be a TrackMan, Flight Scope, etc. I hope you really enjoyed this brief discussion on what the right shoulder does. If you'd like to see more from me, please visit my YouTube channel. My Twitter and Facebook links are below. If you'd like to visit me, please do. I'm based at Altrincham Driving Range here in Cheshire. And pop in, love to see you, love to work with you. Thanks again, and I look forward to speaking with you again very soon.